everybody, it's B. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be talking about how I plan and organise my life as a girl with ADHD. Now, if you follow my Instagram, you might see that I've already posted a post about this, but I just want to go into a bit more detail and share a bit more about it. Let's go! So, you might be asking what makes me qualified to talk about this. Nothing, right? I've got experience. I'm not a qualified doctor or psychologist or anything like that. I'm a student, so of course not. But I've gone through a lot of my life without being diagnosed, which seems to be very common in women nowadays, that we're not being diagnosed until we hit university, until we hit the workplace. So hopefully this might give a lending hand to someone who doesn't really know what to do, because luckily I was diagnosed in the January of this year, so that gives me a little bit of experience of being diagnosed and a lot of experience about being undiagnosed. So that's my experience with it. And obviously when I was younger, I've had so many experiences and struggles with like losing things and forgetting things. I'd always forget my keys. Don't ask me how. They'd be in one place and then suddenly they'd be gone. Turns out that's a trait of ADHD. Love that for me. And it was really, really frustrating for both me and my family because we couldn't figure out where these keys had gone. And it kept happening with keys, with pens, with my phone a few times, or just random little things that I needed but weren't essential to my life. Another thing is why I didn't get diagnosed so soon is because pretty much from when I was born, I've always been, like, in school, I've always been the pleasure to teach, the goody two-shoes, you know? And honestly, yeah, that did get me bullied, but it also made me kind of better for who I am today, because it shows how far I've come. Because now, if I've got, first in one of my units, and then 2 2s in the rest, I would have been devastated for that. But no, I was absolutely thrilled, and it shows how far I've come that I don't have to have everything perfect. And that perfectionism, that goody two-shoes in me is still there. We all know it's still there. It comes out every once in a while, but it's not as prevalent and it's not as like massive in my life as it was. Like, yes, I was a bit upset that I got 2 2s, but also I made it through first year. It's 0% of my degree and I passed it. So it's a win. The constantly losing and forgetting and then the goody two-shoes goes against each other so often, because I'll lose something. I'm like, how on earth did I lose it? It was right here, and I'd get really annoyed at myself. And yes, I still get really annoyed at myself because normally it's my keys or my U card, you know, the most important things to get me into my buildings. So they are constantly fighting each other. So having ways to prevent that fighting in my mind is the best thing ever. So they're going to be coming back in the second part of my video. Another thing is the whole thing with RSD. So this is, I believe it's called rejection sensitivity disorder. It's very, very big in ADHD as a whole. But I've, once again, had it all my life. Why aren't people diagnosing me sooner? Guys. But no. So whenever people used to say no to me, or when they didn't want to hang out with me, or they used to hang out without me, or like, I don't know, it was very difficult for me. Not in a, no, I want this. It's a, why don't they like me? Why don't, like, I'd spiral over the rejection. And yes, I still spiral over rejection. It's a very, very big thing in my life. But that's why I, like, nowadays, I try and stop and I take a breath and I handle it. But not by myself, but as a, okay, let's separate these two situations and look at it as a whole. Okay, maybe they've got this on and they can't do this, but you can offer to do it at a different time. And that's how it's worked really, really well for me. And I remember when I was in when I used to do youth theatre, I didn't get the part I wanted. Now, I've seen kids over the years, because I did youth theatre, fully break down and cry about how they didn't get the part they wanted and they're just ensemble. Ensemble's awesome, by the way, right? Les Mis ensemble, you don't stop. I'm not kidding. But no. But my one, when I didn't get the part I wanted, because I was always pretty much second choice for everything, right? You know, like, I have the voice, I have it. It's just slightly out of grasp. You know, there's always one person who's a better fit, or it's something like that, you know? But I got a part I wasn't necessarily happy with, and I spiraled. I was like, why doesn't the director like me? What is going on? Am I doing something wrong? It's constant, like, stress. It's spiraling and it's horrible, and my dad tried to knock me out of it, but that triggered more of the RSD, which then sent me more into a spiral. But it's not the whole, like, oh, I really wanted that part and this person got it and I'm really, really upset. Like, you can be upset, but move on. That's always the rule. Get upset, move on. And that's kind of like RSD. You really, really spiral, but then I managed to get out of the spiral and I'll be fine. Like, you've had, like, maybe the first week or two, fine, you know, have a little pity party, you know, wash off your wounds and all that. Fine. But then you're doing a really, really fun show that you're with your friends, and it's a lot of fun. Like, me and my brother, we ended up one show playing this comedic duo, even though I wanted the main part. I think it was We Will Rock You, and we were Brit and Oz, and I really wanted Scaramouche. And it was me and this other girl going for Scaramouche, and everyone was like, no, it's going to be you. She got it, I got Oz. Do you know how much more fun Oz was? I got to sing this most beautiful trio song with two of my closest friends. I got to mess about for the entire show with my brother. Like, do you not understand how much fun that is? Like, it is so much fun being a different part instead of the lead. Because sometimes the lead can just be so, like, two-dimensional. Back to the point. It's very easy to get caught up with the RSD, but if you know how to recognize it, it makes it a lot easier to handle. And finally, you've got, like, obviously I've mentioned the late diagnosis, and people are still being diagnosed in their 30s and their 40s, and I can't imagine the hell they're going through with all this. I'm going through hell. Like, yesterday I've just started my medication. Like, yesterday, I forgot to take it because I woke up really late, so there's no point in taking it because it's like 12 hours of stimulants. And I was just useless. I was horrendous. I was just scrolling on YouTube and Instagram and doing nothing. And I was so annoyed at myself. But then I realised, hang on, that is just the ADHD. Because the stimulants give me my dopamine. They give me what I need. And that's what scrolling does, and that's why I don't really scroll when I'm on my meds. And everything just clicks into place slowly, and it helps so much realize that I wasn't actually broken, and no one with ADHD or autism or anything like that are broken. Their brains are physically wired differently, and I find that so interesting. Like, I'm very much debating going into neurobiology purely because of that. It's really difficult when you're younger because you don't have the support, especially because I was so good in school. Like, yes, I had very bad anxiety and all that because of the perfectionism, and because now we see now with hindsight and all that is, you know, ADHD. And no one really gave me the support I needed because I looked fine, I acted fine, I didn't act out. And it was really, really difficult for me. Hopefully this video will give someone a little bit of support with how I get through my day, how I get through my month, how I just deal with everything all at once. And remember, everything is trial and error. No matter what happens, it will change. You find things that work for you as you go along. And it is frustrating and it is hell. But also you'll find stuff that works and you'll stick to it. Now we're going to go over to more my methods of how I stay organised and how I plan. But what I find works for me is having paper and online resources. So I use my Outlook calendar and my Google calendar My Google's more for my YouTube stuff and for stuff that my family needs to know about. And then my Outlook with my school account is all academics, my job, everything like that. So I've bought a teacher planner for 2nd year and I'm very, very excited. So I color coded my month and I've got like weekly planners in here, and I'm super excited to be using this because it's got everything I need, including extra which I can then use for my university life. But first, I want to show you this cutie little thing here. This is my day planner and it's really, really nice. So as you can see, it's split into sections. You've got the time down the bottom here, top 3 priorities, to do and don't forget. And then on the back, you've just got plain notes, which is really useful when I think of like what I want to do for my outfit that day or something that I've got to do tomorrow. I can just put it down, and then when I'm planning my day that night, I can look at it and go, okay, let's do this, this, and this. And then this is my outfit, and that's the plan. Okay, so this is my teacher planner. I am holding you up, so it is going to be a bit shaky. So first of all, can we appreciate these stickers? My friends in uni are going to be stealing them in like a term, I bet. So this part is the timers and the calendars. So this is my year. So that's like my uni calendar, people's birthdays, everything like that. Here we are. So this is October. It's a full month spread of the dates in October, and it goes all the way through. This is my August. So they didn't have an August 26th, so they gave me like a blank one. So I thought I'd use it. So this is how I've done it. I've used Sharpie S notes and my gel pens for this because it just works really, really nicely. And then this is my key. Always have a key, right? Because if you're making like plans or something like that, you can come back to it and go, okay, this is a personal matter, so let's put it in the red. And I mark things as done with a little star. And then, as you can see, we've got plenty of colours. So this is how my month looks for August. And I'm really, really enjoying how this looks because I can revisit it as many times as I want. I can move things, as you can see. 1030 headshots has been moved. And I wrote things in the wrong date, so I can just write it over. All of this is also on some sort of online calendar. So if I decide to leave this at home, because it is a hefty book, then I can always just check on my tablet or on my phone what is when and where is it going. So it's really, really helpful and really, really useful. But if we hop onto the weekly planner, A, there's this really cute reading tracker, and B, you've got, let me skip over here. We've already got a weekly planner with the periods with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's going to be really, really useful for me. And as you saw before, there's a post-it note. This is how I'm planning before I start using this fully. So you see how this period's down here? What I've done is I've planned each one, which would be a period. So by that, I mean this row would be about lectures. This row would be about revision / what I'm doing. That's going to be my meals. That's going to be my outfit. That's going to be self-care. That one's going to be chores. And then that one's going to be tutoring or social media. So basically a work, career column, row. And I'm really excited to use this because it can follow the same key. So like the same color coding as my new September one, which I'm very excited about. It makes more sense logically for the color code. Next we've got, what have we got? Lesson planners. A, can we point out how cute this is? Plan now, panic later. That should be my life motto. It's really, really nice. And then here we've got lesson plan and lesson feedback. So what I'm planning to use for it is I'm going to use it for my weekly topics. So when I'm starting a topic, I'll fill out this page. Use this bit for the laboratory, which I'm very excited about. And then this side will be for basically reviewing it when I finish the topic. And it's really well thought out. As you can see on this nice blue divider, we've got assessment tracker. Now, I've got hardly any assessments to track. You know, I have exams, I have coursework, but that's nothing massive, you know? So assessment dates, I can fill this out, which isn't too bad. And now let me skip over a page. This is like, do you know back in primary school and secondary school where you used to have your name there and they'd fill out all of your test scores? This is practically what that is. So instead of that, I'm using it as a habit tracker. Now you should see this all over my Instagram. I haven't filled out Thursday, don't judge me. This week has actually been really, really good. I'm really, really proud of myself. So that's currently what I'm using it for, because the habit trackers at the back are horrendous. So I'd much rather use something like this to keep me on track. And also, it's just perfectly laid out at the back of this section. Here we are. We've got like student feedback, which I don't have any use for at the minute. Let me know if you have any ideas on any of these. Anything that I don't have a clue on or anything new that you noticed. Just let me know what you think. But what I think I might use this for is if I get any like in-person feedback from anyone. And then finally, meetings and reflections, which I've already used, by the way, guys. This is my first ever meeting notes, but I find this really, really nice because it shows like, this is what happens in the meeting, this is what you need to do. And I'm planning to use it for my tutorials with my personal tutor, which is going to be really, really useful. I obviously won't write in it during the tutorial because that's terrifying. But I'll use it afterwards, like I'll sit down in the life sciences building, I'll just write everything out, what I need to do. This is also stuff I can use for tutorials, lecture readings. So this is the parents' evening feedback, which sounds stupid, I know. But if we look, they're kind of like little A5 like slips, which is quite nice. So points to discuss, next steps and new targets. So that'll be good because this can be like, oh, I have a photo of it on my phone. And there's also a parents' evening schedule, which I don't see a point in. But like, I just love how many there are. And now here's the habit tracker. Now, I like to have a lot of things on my habit tracker that not many people view as a habit, just so I can stay organized on myself, which is really useful for ADHD. But this also is a very nice starting point if you're ever stuck on where to start for a habit tracker. Start small and work your way up, yeah? Whereas this might be like brush teeth, supplemental medication, go for a walk. It could be anything. I have a lot of different small random things that I like to do every day, so that's why this doesn't work for me. But I can appreciate why they put it here, and it's going to be very, very useful for anyone else bar me. And then more habit tracking, and then things to do. It's just a massive to-do list. 2 A4 pages of to-do list, which is actually really, really nice. I do like that. And then finally, a lovely little notes page. Oh, 2 notes pages. Ooh, lovely. But yeah. Okay, so that is... So now I just want to talk about what I've done in here a bit more detail. Well, as you saw, I've got lots of color coding going on and it's consistent throughout. So I'm hoping to keep the new one I've got for September to keep going for this, because then it'll make my life a bit easier. I've kept the color coding on from my planner into this notebook as well. And I find that really, really helpful, because then I can see it and I go, oh, okay, so if it's red and I need to knock it off in my monthly or weekly planner, I can just go little star and it's done, you know? So I find that very, very useful to keep that color coding going. Obviously, everyone's different. You don't have to use the fancy Sharpie S notes. You can use some highlighters. That's what I used to do. Or you can use felt pens. You can do anything you want. I just prefer the S notes. Everything can be used. You can use coloring pencils. You don't have to go out and buy new things. You can draw one out on it. You can draw a habit tracker out on a piece of paper. You can do it on an app. You can do everything. You can do it on Canva, for hell's sake. I love Canva. But it's very much a start small and then build up. I bought the teacher planner purely because I looked at it and I was like, that's going to be very, very useful. Don't impulse buy everything on Amazon. Look more closely into what it is and how you can apply it in your actual life. I've also got like refillable pens, so I'm not buying as many pens at the minute. And it's really, really nice having that realization going, hang on, I've got so many things at home, I don't need to buy it. And that's a big thing with ADHD, because you see it and you go, oh my goodness, I can buy something. I love it. and then you never actually use it because you forget it exists. Being aware of what you're doing is probably the biggest part of it, and that's really, really helped me. But honestly, if you want to buy it. Just make sure there's a use for it. Okay, and then another thing I like to try and do at least once a day when I'm in university is study in other places. If you're in first year, you'll probably be in accommodations like Unite House or Orchard Heights, or I think the other one's called Brunel House on the same road. But a lot of Unite spaces have study spaces. And I found that really, really useful because if I didn't want to go too far, I could just walk down the stairs and go to the study space. That's a different space to use. Or you could go to a library, you can go to a study space, you could go anywhere, you could go to Spoons. I've studied in Spoons before. Find somewhere else to study for a little bit. It gives your mind like a bit of a refresh because you're also walking there for fresh air, you're moving your body, you're doing everything right to then have a good focus session, which is the important thing. And I always like to have background noise when I'm studying. Some people prefer absolute silence, but I like to have that little bit of background noise, or I like to have my headphones on and I'll have music or Netflix on. But behind that, there's always something going on. Like, Will's library is silent study. That motivation of everyone around me doing something is more than enough motivation and almost like forcefulness to do something. Like, my anxiety is so bad. It's like, oh my goodness, everyone's working around me. How can I get distracted? You can't because everyone's around you. So it's really, really useful to study in other places with a bit of background noise. What I do really, really like is the whole idea of decision fatigue. I don't know whether you guys have seen this online, but decision fatigue is when you make too many decisions in one day and your brain just kind of goes, no, I'm done, screw you guys. And it's all micro decisions that make the big things. Deciding what outfit you're going to wear is a decision, or like tiny little decisions like what top, what do I have to wear today, what have I got today that will affect what I'm wearing. It's a bunch of questions all in one that people don't really see or notice. And decision fatigue can hurt people with ADHD a bit more, or affect them a bit more, because they're constantly having more questions than anyone else is, because their mind is running at 1,000,000 miles a minute, as I know. As you can tell, my mind's normally running 1,000,000 miles a minute. And that's why I always try and plan things the night before. You don't have to do it every single night. But as you can see, I planned, here we are. So I planned Wednesday the night, so Tuesday night I planned Wednesday. And it just kept everything very, very organised for me the next day. And I got quite a bit of my to-do list done. Having a to-do list and not being able to complete it because you're so distracted is really, really awkward. And it's really difficult to, like, kind of bounce back from that, if that makes sense. Because you think, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do any of this because I didn't do any of it yesterday and I feel like hell and it's all going wrong. Take a breath and do one of the simplest things on your job. Mine today was look at one of my scriptures because I'm getting more into my religion and stuff like that. And that really gave me a good start to my day because it's one thing ticked off and done. So it's quite useful. And then start building up to the bigger tasks, or break the tasks down into smaller ones. Break it into 4 tasks that you can do and you will be able to do it then. So yeah, those are like my methods and how I keep somewhat sane with ADHD and my life. So just to finish off, I just want to give a little encouragement, right? Nothing is ever going to go correctly if you think it won't, right? Whenever me or my brother used to go to my dad and go, Dad, I can't do this, right? My dad would go, if you say you can't do it, then you can't, right? If you say you can do it, then you can do it. It's all about that growth mind. No, it's not about the growth mindset. It's all about your words and how you frame yourself. I had to belt a top D in Aladdin, and I could never do it. And I even cried to my dad during rehearsal about it. And yes, he did snap at me, but it was like a supportive MD dad snap. It was a very weird moment. there was always like a drop down or something I could do. There was a way out. There was a different pathway. You've got to find that pathway because nothing is going to be perfect. No one's perfect, and anyone who says they are lying, right? They might think they're perfect, but inside they are deeply insecure about everything that's going on in their life, right? Social media is a highlight reel. Nothing on there is going to be perfect or anything like that. So you've just got to be mindful about what you see and what you say about yourself. I've been so guilty of talking bad about myself, and I'm trying to get better at it because I'm doing this whole manifestation thing. And I've seen a difference in myself since I've started talking better about myself. And I'm really proud of myself for being able to see that. And I feel like once you guys start doing that, or carry on doing that, I don't know what you're doing, but once you notice it and you change your ways, you'll notice it more. I heard in my manifestation video that you've got to separate yourself from that thought and change how you think about it. Imagine you saying that to someone else. That would be horrible. So why are you saying it about you? And always move your body before or after a study session, even if it's just standing up and walking a loop around your house or your flat or just stretching. Just moving your body will help you clear your head. Yeah? Just sat scrolling on your phone during a break isn't a break because you're not switching off. You need to be able to get up from your desk, move a little, so then you can feel refreshed and ready to go. Get a drink, get a snack, do something with yourself, okay? That brings us to the end of the video. Remember, you guys, you have got this, and I believe in you, and you are all going to smash everything that you're going to be doing today. And I hope you enjoyed my video, and I will see you next time. All right, bye everyone.